Hey everybody, what is up? Hope you're all doing well today, or whatever day it is, I guess. But hey, it's your boy Yaysys back with another video finally. I know I'm pretty bad at keeping up with content. I mean, that's kind of what this video is gonna be, kind of in general, about what I'm trying to do looking forward and why I've been kind of behind in content, and just kind of struggling, right? So, hope you guys enjoy. Before we get started, if you enjoy, make sure to hit that like and follow button. Or subscribe. I'm so used to Twitch. Make sure to like and subscribe, comment down below any thoughts or anything, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so I've been playing a few different games here and there, trying stuff out, but I've largely been waiting on this one game. I know a lot of people have heard about it, but it's a game called Ilysia. It's a VR MMORPG, and I'll throw an overlay up here of some of the stuff I'm talking about. But basically, it's this really big VR MMORPG I'm really excited about. It has sort of like velocity-based swing and shooting systems and stuff, you know, so you pull back a bowstring harder in order to fire for more damage, and you swing a sword a certain direction and a certain speed in order to get more damage out of it and stuff. And you want to mine stone, you actually have to mine it in VR, right? Like, it's a lot of cool stuff like that. So that's what I've been kind of looking at. So before this video really gets started, I wanted to throw in a preface here. This is not me just reading off the wiki or anything, so if you do want to get an extensive look sort of into more in-depth systems, I obviously have the video scrolling if you want to pause at any point. However, if you want a more in-depth look and you want to actually read into what the game is about and stuff for yourself, I am going to be throwing the link to the wiki in the description of this video, so you can go ahead and look there if you want to have a more in-depth look at it. Anyways, enjoy the video. So, something that I'm really excited for in this game, once again, have an overlay up here, hopefully. They have something called the Freeforge class system. It's something that I think is really cool and has a lot of capability to be crazy deep and interesting. So it's sort of like a thing of the best way I can describe it is if you were to take the Borderlands system, since I think that's like the most relatable game to this, and you were to throw it into World of Warcraft, right? So you were to take the fact that you have that sort of open class system and throw that into World of Warcraft in terms of, you know, as a druid, instead of just being a druid and picking a druid, you can be a druid that builds 15 points into druid and 10 points into warrior for the extra abilities that come with warrior, right? And so it allows you to use any weapon just with varying effectiveness and different abilities with varying effectiveness, right? And you can obviously build more into one thing to be more effective into one thing, or you can build partially into multiple things in order to be good at multiple things, but also you're sort of giving up things of other classes in order to get that. And so there's a lot of depth in that and a lot of interesting things that I think could come out of it, and I think would be fantastic. So that's something that's really cool. And at launch, they're going to add more, but at launch they're saying there's going to be about 24 skill trees to choose from, which is a crazy number to have. So that's going to be huge, and that's going to be really cool to be able to sort of put points into whatever you want and develop it as you want. And that's something that really excites me, because that's the kind of gameplay I love, where I can sort of do what I want and have an open possibility tree to build and combine abilities for optimal strategies, or just for fun and kind of cool builds that do interesting things. And I mean, talking about the depth, right? We have the Freeforge class system, but on top of that, we have the professions that are in the game, which are crazy. Because from my understanding so far, it's sort of like the professions in World of Warcraft, right? Except for you can sort of use them to make profit with other players, sort of thing. It sounds really interesting to me, right? So like there's blacksmithing, I mean online here on the confirmed ones, quote unquote. You have blacksmithing, leatherworking, tailoring, engineering, right? And I'll have it up there: enchanting, innkeeping, barkeeping, merchants, and tradesmen. And then possibles of cartography, cooking, fishing, and bards. What's really cool about that is, from what I've read into it, you'll be able to set up shops in towns and things and sell to people and things like that. And you'll claim that, right? You'll claim a building essentially in order to sell items from and distribute them to other players. And if you don't log in for 7 days or whatever, right, you lose that claim. So it's sort of a thing of if you're smart, right, and you say, oh, this new server just opened up, so there's gonna be this huge inflow of players coming to this town. You can go and set up your blacksmith shop in that town with your advanced blacksmith abilities or whatever, and make a bunch of swords to sell to all these newer players that are of better quality than they would normally get, and you can make this large profit off of doing that type of thing. And you'll also be able to set up what you'll have is called caravans in the game, and you're gonna have, think of like the Oregon Trail, right? Like they had those big wagons, sort of think of that type of thing. And you'll be able to set up a shop out of those, and every caravan's gonna be, every player's gonna have a caravan, and you'll be able to set up these things out of those, right? And you'll be able to have your own inn, your own bar. You can trade, be a merchant, obviously, but I just think that's really cool thing to allow, right? Like you have realistically the adventurers and then the merchants, right? You have the people who do blacksmith and do leathering, and they don't go out and fight bosses as much as these other players, right? But like in World of Warcraft, you have everyone does this stuff, but it's sort of like you'll be able to kind of specialize and be good at this stuff specifically. I think that'll be really big and really cool to allow sort of that choice of, do you want to focus on your adventuring and go fight bosses and raids and stuff, or do you want to become a blacksmith and be one of the best blacksmiths and develop that skill and set up your own shop and make money out of that? So I think that's something that's going to be really cool in the game. So sort of moving on from professions and stuff into like actual world gameplay. So there's obviously going to be PvP, as typically there is in these types of games, and you'll just kind of flag yourself for PvP. There'll be PvP zones. I'm not that interested in PvP personally, but something that's really cool is there's, you know, obviously dungeons and raids, but I think what's the coolest thing so far to me is, if you know what Shadow of the Colossus is, those giant colossuses that you fight, you'll be sort of fighting those in VR, right? So there's these giants or titans that players can fight, and they're climbing puzzles and stuff and things that you have to actually solve and, you know, like break things off of them or whatever in order to defeat them, right? You're literally climbing around on them and solving these cool puzzles. It's not just some World of Warcraft style, I blast thingy over and over until it die. I think that'll be really cool and add a lot of depth to the game, and that's something I'm really, really excited for, and I think will be super, super interesting and super, super fun to play. On release, there's going to be quite a few weapon types from what they've said. Once again, there's a lot of these, so I'm going to just throw them up on the screen for you guys to look at, but tons of variety there and tons of stuff to pick from and specialize in depending on what class you're going to play, because obviously it's a huge class system, right? You have the Freeforge class system, which is just absolutely massive and is going to do a lot. So it's like you have all these militia tools and then these actual military tools, and they're all going to be good for different things, which will be really cool, because then you're going to have this huge variety of player base doing all these different things, and having their own unique play style depending on their class and how they specialize and sort of what they build into optimally. And I think it's going to add a lot of, once again, capability to sort of branch out and have a lot of viable, powerful things to do in the game. And I think that's really exciting and really cool. And obviously, right, like, I mean, and even then, there's one-handed weapons can be dual wield, so there's dual wield stuff you can do in the game, which is really, really cool also. Now, obviously, you cannot have a complete fantasy RPG without magic, and you'll kind of be like, how does a VR game do magic, right? I mean, to an extent, there's obviously games out there that sort of do it, but they're more focused on it. So Ilysia is going to be sort of gesture-based, right? So, I mean, certain spells you'll slam down on the ground, or you'll move in a certain order or whatever, right? Like, I mean, do certain sort of movements to do certain things, which is really cool, and they sort of have different util and stuff, but yeah. So each class is going to have their own spells or whatever, and the spells are really cool because I'm sure there'll be a lot of variety in how you use different ones and what they all do and how they all can work together. So obviously transportation is an important topic to talk about. So there are, in Ilysia, interestingly enough, so exploring the world can benefit people, right? Because you can come across new and uncharted locations in the world, which provide new resources and also new challenges and stuff that other people maybe haven't discovered yet, because the world is huge. I think it's 200 and something kilometers squared, which I think I calculated out, and it was, I crunched the numbers, it was like 280 miles squared, which is massive world, right? And then from what I've seen, fast travel is going to be you ride on blimps and take your caravan and stuff. It's going to be less like you click a button and you teleport there, and you actually have to, like, you ride a blimp and you have to actually fight off sky creatures sometimes, right? You have those random encounters sometimes where a dragon might attack your blimp, right? So there's downsides to these fast travel mechanics, but also upsides, right? You get there faster, but also there's this risk of you might get attacked and you might have to fend this thing off while you're getting there, and so it makes it this not perfect ethereal thing like in a lot of games, and I think that's a really cool mechanic to sort of push immersion and sort of be like, you're actually in this fantasy world where you ride a blimp in the sky, a dragon might attack it because dragons live in the sky. Obviously there's climbing, so you can climb mountains and stuff and climb certain areas that you won't be able to get to accessibly otherwise, and there's resources to collect, I mean plants, mining, different stuff like that, and that'll be a really cool expansive thing. And then there's music that changes depending on where you are, which is really cool also. So I mean, it's huge and it's gonna be really cool. There's of course mounts and pets. They're also gonna have sort of Pokemon style pet battles, which I think is really cool and another kind of layer to having fun in the game, or at least they might. Not 100% sure. I'm not sure if they reached their funding goal because they had a funding goal on Kickstarter for it. I can't remember entirely, but yeah, so there's gonna be maybe pet battles and stuff, which will be really cool. But I mean, just this game is huge, and this is kind of what I've been biding my time for, because I really want to make content of this, and I've been struggling to make content on other stuff because I just don't feel pushed to do it, and I don't really enjoy it. But I mean, I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna try and release some art content and stuff, because I've been playing art, and some Wizard 101 content since I've been playing that, and heck, maybe some VR content because I've been having fun with that. But until then, I think it's just gonna be some kind of random variety fun content. But once Ilysia comes out, I think this is gonna be largely what I focus on, and I think it's gonna be, as long as the game goes well, obviously, because you never know. Sometimes it's a cyberpunk thing where, sure, the game's good, but it's not as good as you expected. So I'm really excited for this, and I think this is where a lot of my content's gonna end up being if it ends up doing well. But I hope you guys are as excited for me. It has a bit. The alpha comes out hopefully at some point in this month, March, if not next month, and they said likelihood is you'll be able to make content, so hopefully I'll be releasing videos talking about how the game is in alpha, what they've implemented, showing sort of off the mechanics of the game, talking about the classes and the races and stuff, that kind of thing, how it runs, things like that, just because this is a game that really intrigues me, and I want to sort of be on the front lines of making content for it, and one of the first kind of players to push content, and I think that'd be a really cool thing to do. So I hope you guys are, I hope this video excited you a bit for it, and I hope you guys will enjoy the content that I do put out, and I hope that if I do put out Ilysia, you'll stick with me and really enjoy it, and heck, maybe join me in playing it. But yeah, I hope y'all are doing freaking-tastic. Wanted to throw some more content at you. I'm working on some. It's just been hard with sort of a shortage of games to enjoy. But yeah, so hope you guys are doing fan-freaking-tastic, like I said. Hope to see you guys soon in another video. And this is your boy Yaysys. Peace in and out. Make sure to follow me on Twitch if you enjoyed.